My name is Bob Whaley. I put 21 years in the Marine Corps. And first tour in Vietnam was in 1962. We were flying H-34s. Came out of the Philippines when they first called us into the country. Went down to a place called Squadron in the Mekong Delta, which was an old Japanese fighter base. We took that over and flew the Mekong Delta primarily. And then left country and came back to the States. Well, I went from there to Hawaii. Tough duty, of course. Somebody's got to do it, as they say. And then from there back to Camp Pendleton, where we picked up the Huey. And got transitioned into that, and then got called out again to Vietnam in 1965. And, well, actually that's when I got shot down. And then back again in 66. We picked up the OB-10A Bronco in 67. I instructed in that and the Huey until we went back over again in 67. And then it was back over in 68 and 69. So I had 3 tours, actually. I want to talk about them all.
So you have a story for us.
I do. When I went back to Vietnam the second time, actually for the third time, just 3 weeks after I got married, I was kind of, my wife said, "You're what? You're going back now?" And I said, "Yeah, well, we knew that. That's why we decided to get married now." And so I was back over there flying the OB-10A Bronco and the Huey. This time I was on an OB-10A Bronco mission, and I kind of assigned myself the northwest corner of Vietnam as my area of specialty. I assigned all of my pilots an area of specialty so that they could follow it and notice any changes, because that was what we were doing. We were doing a lot of reconnaissance and following the NVA and the many patterns and trails that they had over there. And I was flying with this new AO that I had. He was a former infantry officer, but he wanted to become an AO because he liked the work that we did for them. An AO being an aerial observer. He flew in our back seats in the O-1 and also the OB-10. And so he was in my back seat this one day, and we were up there flying around Quezon. It was kind of the northwest corner. And I said, Lieutenant, I said, look over at Tiger Mountain over there, which was just to the east of Quezon. Went up to about 5,500 feet, 6,000 feet. And this day it was all clear. And I said, God, I've been flying up here about 7 months now, and I've never seen it clear. And it was alleged to hold great beauty inside if you get in there and fly around inside the kind of the cavity of the crater in there. I said, there's supposed to be beautiful waterfalls. I said, we're going to go take a look. He said, good, let's go do that. Flew in there. It was all clear inside. You could circle the waterfalls and everything. And he looked down and he said, down there, Major, look, pink elephants. I said, I'll be damned, look at that. It's all kind of a red clay area. And they'd wallow down there in the water, and they get all just really nice and pink. And so I said, yeah. He says, we're going to puff them ourselves or call an artillery strike. And I said, we're not going to do either. I said, that family of elephants has finally found a safe place, a respite away from the damn war. And he says, well, the calves are down there nursing. I said, yeah. They probably found a place that they could give birth and know that they're going to be safe. And so I said, that's right. We're going to let them be. And if I hear of any SOB coming in here and trying to puff those things, I said, I'll tell them that you said that they were all pink elephants, and they'll have you over to talk to the flight surgeon. He says, oh, he says, we will let them be, sir. And I say, you bet we will. Those elephants are going to be there for a long time, I hope. So we went back to the base, and that night went into the old club that we had there, and he was over at table there talking to some of the young lieutenants, and he gives me a thumbs up, and I said, yeah, you're right. And he says, they're going to be okay. They're okay, Major. They're going to be fine. I said, good. Well, a week later, I knew they were going to be fine forever because that lieutenant and his pilot that he was with were both killed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they were good guys. And that's when I kind of came up with the term, we are defined not so much by what we create, but by what we refuse to destroy. And that has stayed with me my whole life. And I'm so glad that we did what we did, the way we did it, and the way he held on to that secret, if you want to call it that. And I want to go back to Vietnam, and I want to go fly up there and see if that family of elephants is still around, with the grandbaby elephants, and hopefully 4 or 5 generations.
You're still there.
Yeah. But I wanted to get that little story out so that it wouldn't be forgotten or die with me, because it died with him and his pilot. So that's all.
But something as simple as that, just, you know,
well,
you cared about some things.
Well, you try to show your humanity in a conflict. And I'm sure there are a lot of stories like that around in conflicts where you do spare the so-called enemy, because it's important for us, I think, as far as human beings, to hold on to that vestige of humanity. It really is. We shouldn't forget that. No matter how far we get dragged into a conflict, we should never forget that.
It's important.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conflict going on now.
Oh, you bet there is, yeah. I had a medevac one time flying the Huey, picked up a Marine who had been injured, and they said, you better come in from the ocean because there's a sniper up there in the hillside. He's going to try and shoot you down. I said, okay. I came in, I picked up the medevac, was heading back to B Medical Battalion, and they said, we have another medevac for you, but you don't have to pick him up because we got the sniper. And I said, well, if he's wounded and he's a POW, I'm coming back for him. So I flew back up there, and they loaded him up. He couldn't have been 20 years old. And they loaded him in the litter and put him in the back. And we flew back up to B Medical Battalion, and to like MASH, the ambulance backed up to the Huey, and they offloaded the Marine, and they offloaded the NBA. And as I was looking over my shoulder out the cargo hatch, the NBA guy is lying on his back. He looks up at me. He goes, gives me a salute. I looked back and I gave him a salute back. I said to my co-pilot, I said, well, hopefully the war is over for some North Vietnamese mother's son. And I hope that guy has a grandfather with many grandchildren today. Yeah.
You cared.
Yeah, even though he was trying to shoot my ass down 10 minutes before. So
Yeah.
what? That's war.
You have to maintain your compassion.
Absolutely you do. Absolutely you do. Yeah. If you don't, it shouldn't be in a conflict. Yeah.
That's a wonderful story.
Anyway, that's all.
That's a beautiful story. Thank you, sir.
You bet, yeah.
Thank you for having us. It's been a real pleasure.
It's been good having you guys here, believe me. Yeah.
And sharing and being letting us in your world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling somebody that by us being here, we're here with my uncle too.
Mm-hmm. You bet.
He's here in spirit, just like everybody else in your squad who's not here physically.
Yeah.
But they're here in spirit.
You bet, yeah.
And we're grateful.
Well, it'd be just a shame to die with stories that you weren't able to share. That's the way I look at it. Stories that you can share that try to show that there is humanity in conflict. And we should never forget that.